Welcome to Explore Kids Online.
Yeah, hello everybody, and today we are going to be talking about forgiving others. Now, you might remember last week we told the story of Jonah, and we talked about how God is the God of second chances, which means he forgives us. And that's the very best way, or rather the very best reason why we should forgive other people and why we should want to forgive other people, because God forgave us and he wants us to forgive others in return. So the very first thing we're going to do is listen to a song all about how God forgives us. And it's got some dance moves that you can dance along to as well if you want to. I hope you enjoy it.
Try so hard to do things right, but I make the wrong choice sometimes. And you forgive me. No one knows me, God, like you. You see who I am, not what I do. And you forgive me. You take all the pieces of my life, put them back together, make it all alright. Choice sometimes, and you forgive me. No one knows me, God, like you. You see who I am, not what I do. And you forgive me. You take all the pieces of my life, put them back together, make it all alright. Oh, you forgive me. Only you can heal my broken heart, make all things new with a brand new start. Oh, you forgive me. You take all the pieces of my life, put them back together, make it all alright. Oh, you forgive me. Only you can heal my broken heart, make all things new with a brand new start. Oh, you forgive me. You forgive me. You forgive me.
So it's great to know that even when we do things wrong, God forgives us. And that's our, as we say, that's our number one reason why we want to forgive other people. Here's a verse from the Bible that tells us that. It says, Colossians chapter 3, verse 13, forgive as the Lord forgave you. There we go. There's our verse for today. And our Bible story today is all about someone who forgave some people, other people that did something really nasty and really unkind to him. And you might know the story. It's the story of Joseph. Now, Joseph, you might remember, received a coat, a very special coat from his dad. I'm going to move over slightly. A really special coat from his dad, a coat of many colours, we often say. We were just talking about the fact that this coat doesn't seem to have very many colours. It just seems to be white and blue. In fact, some of the other coats seem to be more colourful than that. But nonetheless, it was the bee's knees. It was the best kind of coat you could get. Probably really expensive, probably made of the finest materials, best quality. It was certainly better than any coat that his brothers had. And as a result of that, they were really jealous of him. They were really angry of him. The truth was that the reason that he got the coat was because he was his dad's favourite son. And they probably hated that as well. And I'm not sure that it was a good thing that he was that he was his dad's favourite son. And certainly Joseph's brothers, and there were 10 and later 11 of them, absolutely loathed, hated and detested Joseph because of it.
10 in this, but there's 11.
Yeah, we think that Benjamin may have been born a little bit later. It's a bit unclear.
But wasn't it only the dad that they lived with?
Long story. Joseph had effectively four wives. But the wife that he really loved was Joseph's mum and later Benjamin's mum. And that's why Joseph was his favourite son.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, his brothers absolutely hated, loathed and detested him, and they decided one day that they were going to kill him. But rather than just kill him, because they knew that if their dad found out, he'd be really upset, they needed to come up with a story. So they threw him down a pit, and they did some other things to make it look as if Joseph was dead. But then they changed their mind because they saw a bunch of traders coming along. Now, a terrible thing about this time in history is that people could be sold as slaves to other people. And they thought, let's make some money out of this. Let's sell Joseph to these traders as a slave. And then we'll make some money and we'll still get Joseph out of our hair. And that'll be the end of it. And Joseph was pulled out of that pit that you see him falling into there and was taken off to Egypt as a slave. Now, loads and loads and loads of things happened. Good things and bad things. He ended up in prison. He, all kinds of stuff. But it all worked out because he trusted in God, because he followed God. Something amazing happened at the end of it. Yes, what?
Didn't he help two people in prison know what would happen to them?
Yeah, their dreams, interpreted their dreams for them. And then later, that was the reason why he ended up meeting the king, who was called Pharaoh, and explained Pharaoh's dreams. Oops, that's the wrong one. Explained Pharaoh's dreams. And Pharaoh was so impressed, he made him the Prime Minister, the most important person in the entire country, second to the king. Only the king was more important. Only the Pharaoh.
So it's like Boris Johnson.
Yeah, exactly like Boris Johnson. Joseph became Boris Johnson, or rather, he got Boris Johnson's job. And so second only to the king, the Pharaoh, Joseph was the most important person in the country. Now, we mentioned a dream that the Pharaoh had. And what that dream ended up being all about is that Egypt ended up with a famine. There was no food. But there wasn't just Egypt. There was no food anywhere. And guess who came to Egypt to try and buy some food? These are Joseph's brothers. But of course they don't
know.
They don't know that they come in front of this important prime minister type person.
And they're coming they're bowing in front of their brother.
And they just don't know. Of course, Joseph, he recognises them straight away. Mm-hmm. But the Bible says that he didn't tell them.
Because they haven't changed much. But he definitely has.
Yeah. And actually, Joseph wants to know if his brothers have changed, not just in the way they look, which they clearly haven't, but also in terms of the way that they behave and the way that they treat people. So he decided to lay a little bit of a test for them.
Oh, and his little brother is in that group now.
His little brother's not in the first group.
Oh.
Joseph says, accuses them of being spies. and coming to cause trouble, and they say, no, 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 we're brothers of our father, we've got one brother back home. They shouldn't have said that, because then Joseph says, right, you need to bring him here to prove what you're saying, and while we're waiting, we'll put one of you in prison just to make sure that you actually do come back. I reckon he was probably treated quite well, to be honest. I don't think it was like a dank, dark, smelly dungeon. But,
he just put somewhere else.
Yeah, just kept under
Yeah.
arrest until those brothers came back, because he wanted to know that they changed. And so the brothers went back, and then when they needed more food, they came back again, and they brought their brother with him. But then there were more adventures, and it looked as if the brother had Benjamin, the youngest brother that they just brought, had stolen a royal cup, but of course it had been a plant again, all part of Joseph's kind of little kind of trick on his brothers. I think,
Prank.
yeah, it was a bit of a prank, and you do find yourself wondering whether he really needed to take it quite this far. Okay,
But it's not a slime prank.
but you know, because his brothers must have been quite scared. Okay, you do really wonder whether Joseph actually kind of could have just kind of scaled it down a bit. But anyway, eventually Joseph tells his brothers who he was.
I am your brother.
Yes, and most importantly of all, despite all of the cruel, nasty and horrible things that they did to him, he forgives them, and he tells them that everything's all right. He says, listen, actually, you might have meant this for a bad thing, but look what God has done out of this. We've been able to help all of these people when there's been no food. God had a plan, and so I forgive you, and I'm kind of not going to hold it against you any longer. And because Joseph was prepared to forgive his brothers, Joseph was able to see his dad again. And that's a really special thing about the whole thing.
Wait,
that's
a really rich. So now quite a rich person is bowing down to a very poor person.
To his dad, yeah,
Yeah.
sign of respect and sign of honour. That's what you did. That when we get home, you can bow down in front of me if you want.
No.
I didn't think so. Fantastic. So Joseph ended up a really powerful person. He could have really used his position to give his brothers a hard time, to have really treated them badly. Could have had them killed, could have had them put in prison. He had the power to do that. He didn't. He chose to forgive. And as we say, people don't deserve us to forgive them. That's not the reason that we do that. We forgive people because God forgave us. And that's what he wants us to do. And the other reason that we forgive people is because it's also good for us. When you don't forgive somebody, you end up with all kinds of bad feelings inside. People who don't forgive don't end up happier because of it. People who take revenge don't end up happier as a result of it. People who do nasty things back to people who do bad things to them don't feel happy about it. They just feel bad. And when we forgive, what we do is we release all of those things, especially when we ask God to help us to forgive. Let me show you how it works. Okay. Don't know if any of you have got these at home. These are vitamin C tablets. These are dissolvable vitamin C tablets. And I have a jug of water here. And we've got one of these tablets. There you go, El. Okay. And what El's going to do, this is, we could call this fizzy forgiveness. And I need to say that we learned all about this when we did some schools work with Christchurch Church here in Alsager. And Rachel led that team and we did some schools work. We could have dropped the whole thing in.
I don't want to.
Oh, you don't want. You're going to drop them in a bit at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, don't make them any smaller. And we've learned all about this, and we did this thing called fizzy forgiveness. Go on, drop one in. When we forgive people, look. Can you see? Oh, you can't because my fingers are in the way. But can you see it's starting to fizz away now. Okay, all of those this is like all of those bad feelings just rising off of us. All of that hurt, all of that upset, all of those nasty thoughts and feelings that we can have that make us unhappy are starting to fizz. Are starting to fizz away, and eventually, what's going to happen is that's going to totally disappear, and all of those bad feelings that we have can start to just disappear, can start to just go, can start to just pass, because we've been prepared to forgive, and we've been prepared to give those bad feelings up to God, and we've been prepared to ask Him to forgive others. Some people do nasty things to us, and you think, why should I forgive them? How is that going to help matters? Well, because the second reason why we forgive other people is not because they deserve it, but because it will help us. In fact, forgiveness helps everybody. Oh, it's floated to the top.
Because it's not got enough to hold to.
Now
it's gone.
It's gone. So go on, Ellie. Do you want to drop some more in? Oh, look at all those fizzy now. Absolutely fabulous. Fabulous. And those will disappear in a minute as well.
And it'll make the water pink.
And it will make the water pink. In fact, we'll keep that there and we'll show you that later on and see whether it's made the water pink. Because we happen to have pink ones. You can get all different colours. Yeah, why don't you try that at home?
Orange ones.
Why don't you try that at home? If you can get hold of some dissolvable vitamin C tablets, then you can have a go at that as well. But we're going to have a go at making a craft. Do you remember I said that forgiveness helps everyone? So we're going to make a little bit of a thing that you can maybe keep in your room to remind you that forgiveness helps everyone. So let's show you how to make that. We've made something with big hands before, haven't we? That was kind of meant to be a hug. I guess this is also meant to be a hug as well.
To say sorry.
To say sorry and to forgive. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. To remind us that forgiveness helps everyone. So like we always do, I'm just going to tilt my screen down so that in a minute, so that you can see what we need to do. But let me show you what you need. You need to cut some strips of paper. You need a strip of paper like that. So I'll give one to you, El, and I've got one too.
But before we start, look at this.
Oh, yeah, it's pink. Whoa, fabulous. Fabulous, and that's good because that means we can move that out of the way now and we won't spill it. Yeah. So you need a bit of paper like this, okay? You also need to cut a bit of paper like this. Can you see it's got a kind of a rectangle with a circle on the top? And you can draw those in order to cut properly. I've just done these very, very roughly, but that's that obviously is going to represent the head. Yeah, so you need one of those as well. And then, of course, what you need to do is to draw around your hand as well. So I'm going to give you
your hand or my hand.
I'm going to do my hand. You can do your hand. So there's yours.
Oh, it's purple.
There's yours. Oh, yeah, I've got purple paper this time. Okay. I'm going to fold my piece of paper in half and see if I can fit my whole hand on there. Yes, I can.
I might have to have this one if you want me to, because I've got small hands.
Oh, okay. You have that one then. Okay. So you're going to draw around your hand. Now, if you fold the paper in half like this, or you use two pieces of paper, then you can draw around your hand, and you've automatically already then got two. You can draw around your hand twice.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, but this is a bit quicker, albeit a bit trickier. So I'm going to draw around my hand. There we go. Elle's done hers. There we go. And then you need to cut the hands out. And as I say, by folding it over or by using 2 sheets of paper, one on top of the other, then what you get to do is to actually get both of your hands in one foul swoop by just having to do one cut. Please remember, of course, scissors are sharp and they are not to be played around with. They're not to be messed around with. You have to treat them carefully and watch what you're doing. And as with anything in this craft or any of the crafts that we do, if you think you need a grown-up's help or someone's help, then ask for help. It's better to ask for help and be certain and then think, I could have done that on my own after all, than to be sorry. Okay, so
Better safe than sorry.
better safe than sorry. That's exactly the phrase. So what you then want to do, okay.
Oh my God.
Oh, you're not done yet. Okay, that's all right. Got plenty of time.
I'm kind of rushed it a little bit.
That's okay. That's okay. You can make another one at home. To be honest, I think you've done 4 there,
Have I?
which is why you're perhaps finding it a bit difficult, because I gave you 2 sheets of paper, and I
Oh.
think you folded them both in half, one on top of the other.
No,
But
just
that's
2.
okay. Oh no, you've just got 2. Okay. Oh, that's all right then. Okay. Now, obviously, you want to make it so
This
it's
is
the
bigger.
so yeah. You want to make it so it's the opposite hands. Okay. So next thing you want to do is you need a face on your person. So
Okay.
I'm going to just do mine very simply. You can take your time over it, but always do give him a big smile, won't you? Okay. Now, of course, I'm going to colour in the hair on mine. I'm going to give him purple hair because why not? Okay. But of course, you can do other things with his hair. You could, or her hair, because you can make a lady. You could stick some string or some wool or something on to make the hair, or some paper on to make the hair. That will be absolutely fine if you've got the time to do it. I like that. I like that. We're obviously doing it the quickest we can because otherwise this video lasts about 4 hours and you get bored and you don't want to watch it. Okay, so then what we want to do is just put a bit of colour on this piece of paper. Again, you could just use a different colour paper if you don't fancy doing any colouring in, but we're going to colour it in. Okay, we're going to just do it very, very roughly though. Okay, again, again, if you've got the time, you could do a much better job than we're doing here, because we're just needing to get through the thing, and yeah, there we go. So I've done that. Okay. Oh, that'll do. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And then you've got one last thing to write. So you need to pick your colour for what you're going to write. I'm going to use blue, because what you want to write on this front part here, is forgiveness helps everyone. So again, you might want to check somebody to help you for the spelling. It's F-O-R-G-I-V-E.
You had to check then, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, because as you know, sometimes when you extend a word, you have to get rid of the E, but forgiveness is not one of those. Forgiveness. Okay.
How many S's do you do?
Two S's, and for the second time making one of these, I've almost not given myself enough room to do it. Forgiveness helps everyone. That's EVERYONE. Let me show you something actually about the word forgiveness. Okay, if I take the N off, can you see the word forgive? Can you see it's made of two words, for and give? Because when you forgive someone, it shows that you're for them, you're on their side. And
Not
when
that you have to take sides.
and when you not that you have to take sides, no, but you can be on everyone's side. So
Yes.
forgive, so you're for them, so you're on their side, and give means when you give something to somebody, and of course what you're giving them is your friendship and your love and your forgiveness. Okay, so it's forgive. It's to be on someone's side and to give them something special, which is your friendship and your forgiveness. You might like that. I do. Right, then we stick this on the front like that. Okay, can you see? Okay, brilliant. Got some sellotape.
It's huge.
Okay, I haven't done a big enough bit there actually. Just a bit of sellotape. Of course, you can use glue if you prefer. You want to stick it differently. Okay, you end up with that. Okay, and then you want to stick your hands on to turn it into a hug. Now, I come across this craft online, and they did it all nicely to make sure that the ends of the hands were the same size as the strips of paper. Again, if you've got the time and you want to do that, you can do that. I'm not going to worry about that for the purposes of this one, and Ellie isn't either. No, we're just gonna, although yours is there. Yours is the right size automatically.
Just the size of my hand.
Because it's the size of your hand. Okay, but I'm just gonna stick mine on as they are.
Giant.
Giant hands. I am a giant. That's enough singing from me. Right. Right, so, and with that, I'll stick it to the table. Fold it over a little bit like that. Again, you can use glue instead of sellotape, but look, finished article. Looks massively different from the other one that we did. I'm going to show you that one instead. Okay, there we go. Oh, I love yours, Ellie. That's brilliant. And there you go. That will remind you to forgive other people if you possibly can, because forgiveness helps everyone. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's been lovely to spend the time with you again. We love making these videos, and we hope that you enjoy them. And you take care of yourself. God bless you. Look after yourselves. Stay safe and all of that, because you are really important to us. All right, take care. Bye.